studio is catching mosquitoes.
Okay, everybody shut the fuck up. And we're rolling. Let's go. It's the Super Suck Hour. Everybody move your hands around. Pretend you can hear the music because we're going to add it in voice. All right, everybody's going. All right, everybody shut the fuck up. Hey, it's the Super Suck Hour with me, the Super Sucklord. Today in the studio we have the Suck
Super
Mom.
Suck Parents.
All right, can I do this?
No.
Can I do my show?
All right, do your show.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's the Super Suck Hour with me, the Sucklord. Today we have in the studio the Super Suck Mom, Rosemary Phillips, the Suck Pops, Francis Michael Phillips from London, England. We have pop culture expert and mafia and terrorist playing background actor Simeon Lipman.
Yay!
And the king of swag, Mr. Nasty Neal. And we are coming to you straight from Fuzhou, Chinatown in New York City. All right, yes. Now, if you're listening to this,
You are mad.
this is one of our earliest episodes. And we're going to say, before we get into the real meat and potatoes of this show, a little disclaimer. All of this is completely made up and fake. Any discussion about drugs, criminal activity, sexual deviance, graffiti, anything of that nature is all completely fictitious, and we're lying. We're all comedy writers, and this is all just part of a big script. So the lawsuits, keep the lawsuits in check. Now, we have to give a shout out to our sponsor, because the sponsors are the lifeblood of this show. And this poor motherfucker gave me a couple of $100 like 5 months ago and has been waiting for his time because, as I'll discuss later on in the show, there's been a couple of snags getting the Super Suck Hour off the ground. So we like to thank our sponsor, Suburban Vinyl, New Jersey's artist-designed vinyl figure store and art gallery in Waldwick, New Jersey. This is simply the most incredible toy store on the entire Eastern Seaboard. You've done business with it.
Benny's the best.
Benny? This is fucking Suburban Vinyl. This is fucking Rob's store.
Oh,
right?
Rob, I thought you said something.
You're fucking fired. It just started and you're already fired. You're already fired. This is a fantastic...
Rob's best.
All right, everyone shut the fuck up so I can get this stroke job out of the way and we can get to the actual show.
That was great, actually.
SuburbanVinyl.com, incredible store, Waldwick, New Jersey. They do custom vinyl toys, limited art, monthly art shows showcasing today's top new up-and-coming top artists. Nasty Neal's shown some work in the store, hasn't he, from time to time? Shut the fuck up. Original sculpts and custom toys, plush and action figures. And official production toys such as Inner Child by Nervy3K. You know what the fuck that is? Nervous Wreck? Is that how you say it? Nervous Wreck. I don't know why he spells his name with a fucking 3 in it, but okay. Suburban Vinyl is located at 4 Frederick Street in Waldwick, New Jersey. SuburbanVinyl.com. I'm tired of licking your fucking ass. Are you happy now? Is it money well spent? Okay, now, if you would like to sponsor this show and get the same treatment, you're more than welcome to. We are seeking sponsorships from clothing companies, toy stores, cannabis entrepreneurs, porno stores, sex toys, anything and anything. You can either give us money to plug your stupid product, or you can give us your product and we will consume it. And if you pay us, we'll say good things about it. If you donate it, we'll mention it. But if we don't like it, we're going to diss the shit out of it. Isn't that right, Nasty Neal? What, you're all shy now all of a sudden?
I don't know. Am I allowed to talk now?
Yeah, you could. All right, just let me get this. Get this bullshit out of the fucking way. We need money. This show is cost me thousands of dollars. We've been working on it for fucking 8 months, and everybody is deep in the hole. This whole fucking show is in the toilet. So we need sponsors and donations. If you go to our website, suckadelic.com, and click on the Suck Hour tab, aside from all the content, the incredible content, you will see a donate button on the side, which goes right to my PayPal account, and you can just pay me. So if you listen to this and you like it, you get a chuckle, you're amused, you laugh, you think, you get insight into something, you can give me a couple of fucking dollars just to keep this shit going, all right? You can contact us for sponsorships at thesuckhour@suckadelic.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud at The Suckhour. We don't have the iTunes just yet, but we're working on that. So, you want to be a sponsor, you want to fucking send us some fan mail, we'll read your fan mail on the air. The address is thesuckhour@suckadelic.com. It's really not fucking hard at all. Now, before we get into the show, I'd like to give a shout out to my DJ, The Crystal Pharaoh. All the music that you hear on the show was either created or curated by The Crystal Pharaoh, and you can check out his music at visualaudioNYC.com. He's going to be in the studio for other episodes with his little DJ machine, making beats and saying funny non sequiturs, but unfortunately he just had a fucking baby, so his time is limited and he can't do shit, so he's not here. That being said, boom! That's all the bullshit up front, and now we can get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. I'm sitting here with none other than my fucking parents.
Yes.
Amazing.
Rosemary and Francis Phillips, and I also have two of my friends and confidants, Nasty Neil and Simeon Littman. Now, you're all here for a very special purpose. You're in charge of food and swag, and you're an incredible expert on pretty much everything that we do when it comes to selling toys and all this other bullshit. Now, as this program unfolds, we're going to learn a little bit more about what we do and what we make. But seeing as how this is one of the earliest episodes and nobody really knows who the fuck I am or what I'm doing, we're going to give some background. And I have my parents here.
Back to basics.
Yes, back to basics. Now,
We are the source of his existence.
yes, and you're going
And
to...
somebody should give me money. What are you going to give him fucking money? Give me the money. I made him. Well, sort of. With
Okay.
a little help from my friend.
It's going to be a long
Send
night.
me the money.
It's going to be a long night.
He owes me a lot
Well,
of money.
no, listen, this is because, like, let's
I want the money.
let's lay this out now. I'm a 46-year-old man
Huh.
living the life of a 25-year-old. I make my money
Ha!
creating
He makes money.
fake action figures, and I have sex with women that are at least 20 years younger than me. And this is a thing in the world now. This is a thing in the world. I'm on television, and I'm a famous pop artist, and you have both unleashed this scourge upon the world.
And we're
you're
proud.
And you're here to be called to
We're
task for this.
strange enough
What
to
the
be
f-
proud.
no, what's
Will
your
you be quiet? I'm talking. I'm your mother. I rule.
what's your excuse?
For what? Making you?
Yes, you
It
got to
was
talk in the
just one of those things. Just one of those crazy
Well, it wasn't
things.
quite that way.
One of those bells that
Okay.
now and then ring.
How about
It
this?
was
Why don't we
just one of those things.
It wasn't that way.
you the quiet one apparently in this arrangement.
Well,
So before
the duo makes enough noise from this point.
let's hear your excuse as to why the Sucklord. Why?
Oh, I said we've been married 10 years, and I said I'd like to have a child. And if we don't have a child,
Why were you guys married in the first place?
Oh,
It was just one of those things.
I often ask, but I said if we
What
don't
were you
have,
smoking, Frank?
I don't smoke. I never have.
That's not true. You've smoked weed a couple times.
No, I can't. It hurts my lungs. I can't do that.
Yeah, but you've tried it.
I tried it, and when I was 12 years old, one of my friends tried to get me a smoke, and I said,
You smoked pot at 12 in wherever the fuck
no,
you're from?
no, cigarettes.
Oh, cigarettes. That's not
And
the
it-
same thing.
And
We
it
don't
was
talk-
terrible.
we
And I
don't do
thought,
cigarettes here. What the
why
fuck?
do people do this? And the guy said, well, what? Persist and you'll enjoy it. Well, I couldn't see the point of that, of going through this awful period to reach some nirvana on the other side. So I had never liked to smoke, and marijuana smoking is smoking to me.
Where are you from in London?
South London, a place called Peckham. Never heard of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, my understanding is you were on the run. You came to America to find a better life.
No,
How's that going?
No, I exported myself to Canada originally to live and work there because it was easy to get into. They needed people with my skills, so I went there.
And what skills were these? This is an important backstory.
Okay, I was an apprentice instrument maker, which is a fancy term for a machinist. And when I had to go into the army, I was an instrument mechanic there. So when I came out, I had a fair amount of skills, and the Canadians wanted skills.
Okay, so then, yeah, but you wound up in New York City, so how did that happen?
Well, your mother and I were pen friends for many years.
Pen pals.
Have it your way.
Happy to-
I lived in a place called North Bay, which is on Lake Nipissing. This is all good information in case you have a Canadian map by your side.
We don't.
So
You're
I,
just going to have to imagine
I
it.
flew down to New York and met
me.
Rosemary for the first time.
But I mean, okay, so you were pen pals with this little Italian girl from Brooklyn
Yes.
who used to write to back and forth when you were little kids.
Well, what year is this?
In
Context.
the 50s,
In the 50s.
Well-
late
Late
50s. 50s.
early 60s.
No, I would say
In the 50s.
You got a question?
Yeah,
there?
how does it come together that you become pen pals?
I will explain.
Go ahead, Ma.
I will explain. At the time, I read comic books. I was always a little backward.
Vault of Horror was your...
EC Comics. Oh, my best. The Vault of Horror and Sci-Fi, Ray Bradbury. And I was also, how could I put it, a great movie fan. And I was in love with Gene Simmons and Stuart Granger at the time.
We don't know who the fuck they
Yes,
are.
they'll know. They'll Google it. They Brit stars, and they were in all these fantastic movies, and I didn't know which one I liked better. So I decided I just like Brits. So I was reading this comic book, and
that's
you
news to me.
you don't know this story. You don't pay attention when I speak. That's why we got the boss, because he pays
That's
no
the reason.
attention.
That's the
One
reason.
of the reasons. He doesn't pay any attention. So
Yes, dear.
anyhow, shut up. I love you, Francis. I still do.
All right, let's
I
keep
got
this
the-
moving.
shut
Finish
up.
the fucking story.
I got the comic book. EC, Vault of Horror, Crypt of Terror, and on the back page it says correspond with European friends. And I looked at it and it says from England. I said, I will write to someone from England and maybe they'll turn out to be either Stuart Granger or Gene Simmons. And I sent my name and they sent me his name. And we wrote to each other.
What the hell did you guys write about?
Well, you got more of Stuart Granger than you did of Gene Simmons, that was for sure.
Nobody listening to the show knows who the hell those people are.
Google it, guys.
you
I
asked-
don't know. But either way, it's
They're
fucking
actors.
incredible. I can't believe it.
You asked us to come here
Oh.
and tell our stories here,
And
we're,
now you yell.
And we're old people,
I'm
so
just
we
No,
trying
no,
to
no,
keep
no.
it. I'm trying to keep
I know,
it.
I'm in third childhood.
I'm-
This is fascinating.
I'm
This is
trying, yes, but I'm
fascinating
just trying to
stuff.
keep it paced for a modern audience.
No, you don't have to.
Nobody
be-
has the
You
fucking
mean
attention.
the
to
ones
do
with
that.
the small attention span.
Everybody watching this shit is a fucking moron, so they
Yeah, not
they
for
need it
nothing.
fast.
Send him money, Mara.
Okay, fine. Okay, okay.
I'm fascinated.
Okay, fine. I'm glad
It
somebody.
is really incredible, though, that all that led to all this. That's just mind blowing to me.
Well, it's
It
mind
is
blowing
one
that
of
Phil
the
Collins.
odds. You see the
From
whole
back
point,
when
the
I was,
whole
you know,
point,
DC
Nasty Neil.
Comics.
The odds of this thing having come into the world was remote, because Francis lived way over there. I lived way over here.
all because of some fucking
and
ad in a
some,
comic
ad
book.
in an EC Vault of Horror comic book that we hooked up at all. That was kind of
it's
amazing. It was like God himself wanted this little piece of
God or Bill
thing
Gaines.
to be born and somehow manipulated it all. And
It was
Well,
the
that's-
will of the Force.
there was a-
the
Clearly,
will
it
of
was
the
the will of the
Force
Force.
was with
So
us.
like
That
80
was,
movie
that's
shit, right?
it. That
Okay,
explains
okay.
it.
Just a moment.
Incredible.
Wait,
there
Francis
was
wishes
another
to
character missing of that, and that's the devil.
The devil made
You
him
said
do
God.
it.
Maybe it was the devil that created it.
Oh
Well,
God,
we
the devil's
called
just
him.
an aspect of
Don't
God.
you-
We all know
don't
that.
you? That's wrong. I'll explain later.
How is that wrong?
Because no, the devil is the absence of God.
Okay,
Now,
fair
wait
enough.
a minute. I forgot what I was. Gonna
I would
say.
like to know before we move the story. What did you guys write about when you were pen paling?
Well, I mean, you didn't hear how I heard about it.
Oh right.
Yes, it's
You-
his.
It was on the back of a newspaper, the same Morse story, looking for pen friends. So your mother was a paragraph in the back of a London newspaper.
Why did you
That's-
pick her to write to?
I wrote
Well,
to
it was
you
in New
first.
York, and that's what it was.
Did
I
you have
wrote to
some
you.
notion of New York as being a thing?
Of course, everyone knows about New York. There were gangsters shooting on the streets all the time.
Oh, and
It
you
was
figured
lovely.
if you write to an Italian girl that
And
you
I-
might get a little of that.
And I watched the Bowery Boy movies a lot. these people won't even know what Bowery Boy movies are.
No, we know what they are.
Oh, okay, all right.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
you guys
Gene
both
Simmons
had
and
this.
Stuart Granger were in.
It sounded like you guys both had a sort of fantasy expectation of what the other person on the other end of this was going to
No,
be.
I was I was a disaster trying to get girlfriends. Well, I didn't even know how to try, so I thought, well, I'll write to one and practice.
I guess you must have had some game because it worked. All right, so let's unless you want to add, let's flash forward. Okay, so this is years later, and you're in Canada,
Yes.
right? You're in Canada,
Yes.
Canada-ing, or whatever you did there.
Yeah.
You know, and 1,000 miles away in New York City is your old pen pal.
No, New York is not 1,000 miles away from New York.
No, from wherever the hell you were.
I was
More
in
than-
north. I was in 200 miles north of Toronto.
Oh, okay. So what made you decide to resume the correspondence?
We never broke it off.
You mean you were writing to... How old were you? 20 years old, and you still have a pen pal from a comic book?
No, I
He
think
was
I
in
saw,
the army. He
saw,
sent me pictures of himself in his
Did you think...
uniform.
And you thought he was...
I thought it was really wrong. It was almost as good as Gene Simmons and Stuart Granger. He had this beret and he looked quite dashing.
So
and
it sounds to
different.
me, though, maybe I'm... This,
Dashing.
you had, like, romantic inclinations from the beginning with this endeavor of yours.
well, that was the hoped for event, yes, but I didn't know that I was going to export myself to Canada or that I would ever meet her.
Okay.
I mean, that wasn't the plan when I was 15.
Okay. So then what happened?
Then
Well, then I arrived in Canada and
and then you came
called
to New
her.
York. You said I may as well.
And I went down on the plane, met her at the airport, went to her parents' house, met them.
What the hell was that like?
Horrible.
Well, it was all strange, she was the first American I'd ever met, and then they were the first Brooklynites I'd ever met.
And that was even worse.
No, it wasn't worse, it was, it was just an interesting exchange of cultures, that's all.
Do you remember this encounter?
Oh, yes.
And were you swept off your feet?
Completely.
Oh, okay.
He's shy.
All right, so this sounds
let's leave
wonderful,
it-
yet it
let's
ended
leave
in
it dogs
divorce,
lie.
so something
All
must
right.
have happened in
Well,
between.
Let's move along here.
Okay, so fine. All right, so you consummated this thing, got married, whatever, and then what? I mean, I was under the impression that you were just trying to get married to get out of your parents' house. That's
Well,
what I
that was a
thought.
factor.
Well, initially, I wanted Rosemary to come to Canada, to live in Canada. But
That wasn't going to happen.
that was like, I was trying to launch a lead balloon from the Empire State Building. So, because I knew that I wanted, at that time they were putting in a whole defense system. I think it's the Beaumont defense system up in the
Kitimat.
Yukon. And I knew I could get a job up there being a technician.
The
Could have lived
Yukon.
in the Yukon Valley.
And I thought, well, we'll go up there and make a lot of money. I think they were paying $1,000 a week. This is in 1955, so that was a fortune. Come back and buy a house. So I came back. So we agreed to be married, and on the promise that for 6 months we'd live in Greenwich Village, and then
Who
we'd
would
go to
believe
And
You
Canada.
who
would
was that a
believe that?
concession to?
Well, I was making the concession.
Yeah, I know, but so you wanted to live in the village.
Of
yes.
course.
And of course it was.
You don't think that I would have left
what did you-
beautiful Brooklyn to go live in the Yukon Valley, do you? Away from everything I know and love.
Well,
in the
well,
Yukon
summarize
Valley.
that. 17 years later, we were still living in the village. So that was a very extended
Yeah,
6 months.
I don't know how that happened.
17 fucking years you guys were married?
Yes.
No, we were not. We were married in 1960 something, and
But
him
divorced in
was born
1970.
in 1969.
And then you suffered 7 more years after that.
That's right.
So
That's
you,
true.
all right, so when did the sex stop? Because that happens in most marriages, and I just like,
What
was
sex?
it just the honeymoon and
No,
that was it? Or?
That's the wrong question.
What?
That's the wrong question. It says, when did the sex start?
So there was no sex?
Obviously, once.
You had sex once in fucking 27 years? Oh,
It
Jesus, I'm
wasn't
father,
really
I'm
as
sorry.
bad as all that.
Daddy, I'm sorry. Was it worth it?
yeah.
Was it fucking
Anything,
worth it?
anything to have you.
Oh, for
Hey,
fuck's sake.
remember, you're British, Francis.
Okay,
He's
so-
British.
How could I possibly forget with you lot here?
Okay, so anyway, yes, so my parents are married. It's a happy marriage.
Well, good friends. We did
Yeah,
a lot
we-
of fun things.
we set out
Drove to Russia in a broken down van.
Oh,
We
d-
had adventures. We were
Well,
very good
let's
pals.
not talk
and
about
we lived
Russia.
in the village.
No.
And we played happily for a long time. And then you came and
Well,
spoiled
now
everything.
let's talk about that exactly, because my understanding or my mythologizing,
Mythologizing.
my mythologizing of myself, the story goes that there was no action, and that you were actually wanted to get the hell out, or you didn't want to be married, or you were not into the typical family arrangement that was popular during the time. Of
I was not into typical anything at the time.
right,
Well,
And he
you
wanted
were.
to make me normal, and he was bound to fail. He's a good man. I love Francis dearly, but his mission in life was a no-brainer from step one. It wasn't going to happen. I would never be normal and live in the suburbs and have children and have people coming over for dinner and be with normal people. And it took Francis a long time to realize that his dreams of normalcy were totally doomed. Is that it? That's
Father,
about
would you
it.
like to respond to those
Well, I'm just taking
allegations?
that data and try to put it in some.
What?
Um,
Speak up.
well, no, our life was pretty. We set out to see every show on Broadway, which we did do at one time. Then we set out to eat in every restaurant in New York, which turned out to be the impossible dream. We always drove in a sports car, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and we went places. We went to Europe a couple of times.
And we drove cross country
And we
in the
drove cross-
Jaguar,
Yeah,
two-seater
that's right.
Jaguar with
So-
3 people in it. His brother, it was horrible, it was. No, it was
Why don't
great.
you talk about it? Because you were so selfish.
I was
It's
selfish.
very hard to, because
I didn't say anything bad about you. Why did you call me selfish? I feel hurt.
I didn't hear this,
I
actually.
remember the trip because we had a whole bunch of blankets and Rosemary sorted out for them. They were army blankets.
Don't believe anything he says.
And she picked the 2 warmest ones.
That makes sense.
So my
Don't
brother
you
and
think
I
I'm not
slept
stupid? I
outside.
had to
We
sleep in
slept
the front
outside the
seat
car.
of a Jaguar for 60 days. I could at least be warm. They were British. They like to suffer. I'm Italian. I need my comfort. You would think my very own husband would have put my comfort first, but of course he didn't. He didn't. And that's and I had to take care of myself, and now he calls me selfish just because I wanted 2 of the less worn out army blankets that he scrounged from Riverside Church. There.
Is that true, Father?
Yes, it's true,
I
son.
didn't scrounge from the Riverside Church. I bought them in the army
What?
store. The
No,
army-
no, you got them from Riverside Church. 9 blankets.
Well, I wouldn't steal from the
3
church, would I?
each.
They gave them away. Okay.
They were there from World War II, and they allowed Francis at the time to have them. So we each had 3 blankets.
you had blankets.
People want to hear this. 3 blankets, 3 for Francis, 3 for me, and 3 for his darling baby brother David. And so now he calls me selfish for out of that pile of really moldy, worn out 1945 bunch of army blankets, I took 2 of the best. You would think he would have given them to me and say, "Oh, Rosemary, unfortunately I can't afford to pay for a hotel or a motel, and you're going to have to sleep behind the steering wheel. You could at least be warm."
Well, we
mean,
we
You're
stayed
bringing,
at,
you're bringing up old wounds, son.
we stayed in a motel once, didn't we?
Once, because we had a wash.
And we snuck David in.
We snuck David in. That
Yeah,
was
okay.
fun.
All right. So. All right.
okay,
But your,
God.
So we
your
had
mother
fun.
has no sense of adventure.
That's not true. Is that true? Well,
Yes.
you have different ideas of adventure.
Oh, no,
You like to, as they say, slog it out, and you're more
I
like
ju-
to adventure in the mind.
I adventure in the mind. Yes, yes. Everything is better in the mind. When you actually do it, it's no fun when you're doing it. But afterward, it's a good tale to be told. So, yes, it was Francis and David who dragged me out of my beautiful, small but costly Greenwich Village studio to go in this Jaguar and go cross country with the 2 strange boys from London. They were very strange, and we had adventures, and Francis will no doubt tell
Well,
you,
anybody-
like when the steering wheel fell off and things
No,
like
the
that.
steering wheel didn't fall off.
Yes, you did. You had to go in the mountains of the Sierra Nevada and try to get like barbed wire from a fence. I remember that. He doesn't remember
wasn't the
things.
steering
He
wheel.
doesn't remember.
It was the shackle holding up
Oh,
the
a shackle.
suspension.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, I sit
But
corrected.
that's fun. That's fun.
That was fun.
Not for you, but Dave and I, it's a great adventure.
Yes, but yes,
Well,
they-
yeah, because your favorite thing is when
Is to
something
suffer.
breaks and then you don't have the shit you need to fix it, so you have to rig something
Yes, of
ingenious
course.
and creative. I have that same quality too.
Okay.
I don't specifically enjoy it,
I
but
gift
I
it
can.
to you.
You both gifted to me, and eventually this is all going to come back around to me because I'm
Yes.
the subject of this.
Oh no,
Yes.
But
you're not.
I'm just
We
filling
hate
in
you.
some backstory. We're just getting some personality profile on my parents. But the real purpose of this, as in all these undertakings, is to further understand the Sucklord. So,
You mean how your character was formed?
yes, I
And we
mean,
formed it.
well, I'm quite fascinated with the subject of myself, and I'm forever trying to
Are we all?
further understand what makes me tick, and you guys are an essential part of it. And I just figured since we're starting the show,
props.
well, I'm not finished exploiting you guys.
All right, go
I'm
ahead.
pushing 50 years old, and I'm still milking every last drop I can possibly get out of my parents for my own benefit.
He pimps his parents for fun and profit.
And yes, and supposedly you enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
kind of
you
fun.
should have known.
I do.
You should have known when you set this off, and way many years ago. A lot of it's your fault. A lot of this is your fault.
Fault. You use the word fault in conjunction
Well, there was a
with
lot of
me.
indulgences going on. Okay. But we're not up to that yet. Okay, so from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you guys had a jolly good bit of fun out there in the world doing ridiculous things.
Yes.
And that it maybe wasn't necessarily the sexiest marriage in the world, but
we had
it
fun.
was a good time. You guys were married in the 60s, and and even though you guys didn't take drugs, you did other
I-
1960s
Francis-
Well, it wasn't for
things.
the one to try.
You tried to take drugs?
No, it's very difficult to get anything there. I mean, I understand.
You grew in Greenwich Village in 1967. You couldn't get marijuana or LSD or any of that shit? Who the hell were you hanging
Well, I
out with?
couldn't. I don't know.
I couldn't. But we did go to Hare Krishna. So that
Do
counts.
they know what that is?
No.
Yes. You don't know what Hare Krishna is?
No.
It's those Hindu dudes with the
Hare
saffron
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Being.
Hare
We saw
Rama.
Allen Ginsberg in Central
Oh,
Park.
that's
doing-
right. And when the Beat Poets, we went to
We
McDougal
went to
Street
anti-war demonstrations.
You used to walk around with a bandolier of bullets.
That was
No.
in the 70s,
Okay.
not in
That
the
is
60s.
not
When the
true.
times changed, I changed
Where
with
does she
them.
get this stuff from? All right.
He remembers
Listen.
the bullets.
I remember everything. So okay, so somehow you guys were married for 17 fucking years. You never had sex, and then somehow I was born. So what's the story?
Well, that is a
That's-
tale
Let's
to be told.
let's hear both versions.
Well, it was possibly a virgin birth. Yes, I see what you mean.
Keep the mic a little closer
Okay.
because we must hear every word of this.
Wait, I need coffee. Hang on.
It could be another virgin birth.
No, it wasn't.
Hey, it was the
You
fucking midichlorians.
achieved good penetration. It was very penetrating.
Please. What the fuck does that mean? Like
It wasn't
literally?
it wasn't a virgin birth. I
Ah.
admit to it. I don't need to be worshipped in that manner.
All right, Father.
Yes.
This is for the Akashic record here.
The what record?
This is for the cosmic beyond. This is going on. This is going part of the digital infinity, and God Himself is going to watch this. So,
Yes.
what's the story?
About what?
You first.
How did you manage to knock her up, even though she basically
fought
closed
bitterly,
the store?
punched you,
Well,
kicked and
This,
screamed?
this may be some news to you.
Please, that's what I'm here for.
We did it the way everybody else does it.
But how did you get her to give you permission? That's the question.
He asked me nice.
Well, in a marriage,
I know
in
You know
a
nothing.
marriage, it's mutual consent.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that I'm a product of any sort of untoward, sexual aggression, but I'm just saying it didn't seem like she was too down. Not only she wasn't down for kids for sure, and she wasn't even down for the D. So it's just like, how did you talk her into the D?
Oh, we fooled around a lot.
Oh,
But
did you?
I avoided the deed. Let's put it that way, because I
No.
did not want to bring forth spawn. See, but there was stuff going on. But at some point,
Okay, but I know.
you know nothing.
This is the version of the story that I've heard.
Your mother lies.
Why would you lie to me?
Why not?
You don't lie. You're not a liar.
That's true. It's
The
all
truth
true.
is so much better.
It's
We don't. The thing that's
I
what
don't-
makes
this
what
family
makes us
doesn't
we
have
don't
to
need
fucking lie.
We don't need to lie. We haven't even
don't
talked
need no
about the
fucking
circumcision
lies.
or the nipple clamps
Oh,
yet.
the nipple clamps and the circumcision.
I don't even know if we're gonna get to that, but
You have to tune in for the next episode,
Yeah, we gotta
and
lose-
you have to send the money,
yeah,
otherwise
we got.
I won't speak.
Send the money, or you're not gonna hear about the butt plugs or the circumcision.
And the nipple clamp.
You very.
Now don't you point your finger at me.
You very craftily timed your menses
Yes,
So
that was
that-
true. I
so that-
craftily timed it.
so that you knew the particular times of the month when you were
Fertile.
less than fertile.
Yeah.
And this poor guy over here probably didn't know nothing about that.
Well, you
So
see-
you gave him his window of opportunity
Shut up.
when you were plowing barren
Shut up. You have
fields.
to understand. Brooklyn Catholic girls know about these things, how to avoid and how to do. The thing you do is
Anal?
you take an aspirin and you put it between your legs, and
You know,
no.
wait.
So you
Wait,
know about
wait,
menses.
but just
It's
wait.
Catholic birth control.
What the fuck? I've heard that aspirin between the legs term before, like when a lot of these anachronistic Republicans are talking about abortion, they use that. Like, what do you mean? You put a aspirin in your pussy?
No, you put an aspirin between your legs. This way you don't open them, fool.
That's the stupidest
Yes.
fucking thing
Well,
I've ever
that's
heard.
why
That's what I
it's funny.
thought it meant, but how that's serious? That's not
No,
serious.
it's a joke. It's a joke.
I don't have that. My humor doesn't run that way. Okay,
Right.
so you didn't have no aspirin between your legs. You
No,
just
no.
waited.
No,
Did your
I
mother
wait-
teach you how to do this? Because this wasn't
My
like
mother
the type
knew
of shit.
nothing. I was
How
a
did you figure this
Brooklyn
out?
Catholic girl knows these things.
How?
I talked to other Brooklyn Catholic girls. I mean, didn't you see Saturday Night Fever? Don't you understand what she did to him in the back seat
She
of
kicked
the
him in the
car?
balls.
No. She wouldn't allow him to
She
penetrate.
sucked his dick.
She sucked his dick because, that's not a sin. But
What
to
about
actually...
what about getting fucked in the ass? Is that a sin?
Well, that is, we have to go to the Pope to find out the details. I don't know, but Brooklyn Catholic girls with the uniforms from Catholic school, they know all this shit. I didn't go that far, but everybody knew the birth control would be your time of the month. So at the time, and I encouraged Francis to take a shot at it if he was so inclined for the purpose of bringing forth. I had sneakily and evilly arranged so it was this day when I had completed my cycle. And I figured nothing's ever going to happen here because I'm not ripe.
Well,
Wrong.
just a minute here. Just a minute.
Rosie
Yeah, well,
was wrong.
Okay, well, all right.
Well,
so what? You have
You
some...
talk about Catholic girls from Brooklyn. Well, Protestant boys from London also know a few tricks.
And what was that trick? You played a
I can't
trick on
tell
me,
you that, can I?
Francis?
But I don't want it to happen to you again.
Huh?
Come on.
What? What
I
was
think
the-
I'm ready to have a little sister or brother. So
Okay.
get to
Protestant
work.
boy-
Go in the other room and practice your Protestant boy tricks. Like, what do you do?
What did you
You
do?
project your sperm into the future. How do you do it?
No, it's okay. Well, it's a
He
secret.
found
It's
a
a
way.
secret.
You're full of shit. There's no secret. You just got lucky.
Yeah. Well, that's the secret.
Wait. Also, wait a minute. You had just finished your period and you weren't ripe, and you got
therefore-
pregnant anyway.
That's right, because God wanted you, for some strange reason of His own, to come forth into the world, and the cosmic result.
Why did it have to be such a pain in the ass, and why did it have to be you guys? Like,
Well,
why
if it
couldn't...
wasn't us, you wouldn't be you.
Like, it wouldn't be as amazing if it
It
wasn't...
wouldn't be.
if
It would have been less amazing.
If it was a typical pedestrian conception, it wouldn't have been quite as fantastical as the story you tell.
That's right, and we wouldn't be here telling it, and people going to send you
And
money
some
because they want to
schmuck
hear
is
more.
actually sitting here listening to it.
Yes.
So...
I can hardly believe that.
So what happened was, yes, it happened. And Rosie, me, it's not that I didn't. I couldn't have a child. I was a child. I wanted to play forever. And then all of a sudden, everything changed. Now I had that, and they gave it to me, and now I say it's yours for the rest of your life. As you can see, I'm still
Yeah, you're still paying the price.
I'm still paying the price for one night
you
of
love
love.
it. It's the best thing that ever happened to you.
Oh no, it isn't.
It's among the best. It's among the best.
I got news for him.
It's amongst the best.
Well,
What, you
one
regret it now? You
amongst-
want to get an abortion?
Never. Well, what I did was go, and Francis will confirm that I went into total denial. Because I didn't get my period for 4 months, and I said, no, I have a cold. And I had this belly out here. I said, no, I'm just gaining weight.
You must have felt pretty cool about yourself.
No, he thought I was losing my mind. That's right.
I'm trying to recollect this
And he
this
forcing
scenario
him to
she's just
remember these
invented.
things.
Listen.
No, because we were anxious, and then, of course, then the rabbit died, so we knew.
The rabbit died.
The rabbit test.
The
They
rabbit
don't do
test.
that anymore, do they?
They didn't
Well, you're
even
talking
do
to
it then.
old people here. I can't keep
They
up
didn't
with what they
give
talk
us
about.
a rabbit test. We're not that old. Maybe you
They
are.
still
but
do the
I'm-
rabbit
Yeah,
test?
now people find out they're pregnant by looking at Instagram. But anyway, that's funny. Laugh. No?
Go ahead, Len.
No,
It is
come on,
fun.
we're bogging down here. This could be the Archie Bunker show.
Who? I'm the Archie Bunker of this thing?
No, I'm saying it's kind of bogging down.
What does that mean exactly?
You don't know what to bog down
I
means?
mean, how is it bogging down? This is fascinating
well,
material.
only, but not possibly to your audience.
Yes, it
There's
is.
nobody listening.
There he is.
You
I'm
hope-
checking him out. He's laughing. I know I'm doing
What
good.
do you guys think?
I'm fascinated.
Yeah, I'm watching them, and I know we're doing good.
Oh shit! Like,
I mean, you're such a unique individual to kind of learn the process is fascinating. I mean,
I'm just thinking of how I came about, and it's so much uncooler than.
How is that?
I can't talk about that.
Why not? You don't want to
I
talk
ain't
about
got,
it?
that's
I got to
not
deal
fair.
with them. They're not as cool as you guys.
So what?
They'll
Who
fucking.
could be? But
They'll knock me out.
you don't want to share. You're letting us bear our
No. My
soul.
mom, I'm telling you, she.
Okay, so now you guys are dealing. You guys have a fucking child, and what the? What's
Wait.
up?
I have to comment. At the time, I saw that. At the time when I was preggers, the movie Rosemary's Baby. Why are you laughing? Am I amusing you? You think I'm funny? I saw Goodfellas. I know how to handle it.
Well, we know it's a Goodfellas joke. Anyway,
But some might not. Anyway, at the time that movie came out, of course my name is Rosemary, and it was Rosemary's Baby, and I took no end of teasing that I was going to give birth to the devil. And I did. And, everybody thought they were joking around, but what happened was when I finally did bring forth, and they brought me this bundle of joy, I looked, and I was terrified because his ears were pointed. His ears had not
it's
folded.
the Elvish.
It was Spockian almost. So they bring me this baby with pointed ears, and I said, oh shit, I really did it. And I was afraid to look at his eyes because they would be gold, like in the movie. And it was a frightening experience, but it turned out to be a pretty good little
That's
baby.
funny. When the nurse brought out the baby, it wasn't the baby you're talking about then. He didn't have elfish ears. Or...
Oh, Francis, were you there at that moment? It
well,
took-
he must have changed. His ears
No,
must
it
have got into
did.
shape the
No,
time he
no,
left
no,
your
I
room,
will
and I
explain.
got to see them.
I mentioned when the nurse brought me the baby, and they said he's fine, he has all his bits and pieces. I says, what's with the ears? And the nurse who gave him to me for the first time said, oh, lots of babies are like that. Sometimes it takes a day or two for the ears to fold. So I was greatly relieved. So you may have seen him after the years, but I had the great thrill of seeing him as he really was.
Well, regrettably, I am not the devil. To be
I
honest
know.
with you, I'm
It
actually.
would be, if he was the devil, I'd be
I'm too
rich.
fucking nice for my own good, and
I
I
know
kind of
that.
blame you for that a little bit.
Why? Because the rice cried.
No, I'm supposed to be this evil supervillain, and do you know how much, like, retroactive self-conditioning I've had to do on myself to be less caring and compassionate for other people?
Yes, I do, and he practices with me.
I'm just saying. For you, there was a lot of it was very. You made me. I was a very soft child. I was very scared of everybody. Scared of kids my age. I was super protective. You introduced an Italian grandmother to the scenario.
Yes, now that's
and I was
helpful.
like, I'm like at least 7 or 8 years old, still getting my ass wiped. Like if my ass started itching, wipe my ass.
It wasn't me.
Wipe
It was
my
my
ass,
mother,
and I'd get my ass
Italian
wiped.
mother.
You know, and it's like you get used
He
to
was
shit
the
like
prince.
that. You
He
get
was the-
comfortable with that,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
go out into life,
And nobody else will
well,
do
now
it
they
for
do.
you.
Now
and
they
you
do.
have trauma.
You'd be surprised. Now, at the tender age of 46, I finally got people to play with my ass again.
Yes,
So
and
I'm
it's-
getting to relive certain aspects of my childhood that I missed.
Were we going to get into butt plugs?
Well, yeah, eventually, but you know how it is. There's certain things you feel guilty asking for, you know, and it's embarrassing because it's like, you know, man ass is not the same thing as boy ass, but you need your ass played with.
Don't look at me. I said nothing.
Oh,
I wouldn't stop you. As
Well,
long as I
as,
don't.
I mean, as,
I mean, you're into fist fucking. I can't help it.
see, as far as all this,
Would you like to comment?
yes, I would.
Yes. Sorry,
I
Francis.
can understand
talk too
why,
much.
with all this caring that you and your mother made, you can see why I failed to turn him into Stuart Granger.
Wait a minute now. Give me a rundown. Stuart Granger, what are his qualifying
You
attributes?
just- you could-
I'm not going to look it up on my fucking phone.
Somebody
Just tell
look
me.
it up,
See,
please.
we don't have the computer girl today. We have some dashing Englishman, right?
Yes, very
Yes.
dashing. Dashing.
Very handsome, well spoken.
Well, I'm not
That's it.
handsome. I'm pretty well fucking spoken.
I mean, in
and
character.
In character.
He was in King Solomon's
And
mind.
you don't
Yes,
think I
was
have
he ever?
character?
Pardon?
You don't approve of
Oh,
my
King
character?
Solomon.
No,
Woman's mind,
That's not
he
the
was
saying. I'm
happy that
saying
way.
the competition between your mother, again supported by her mother, was a daunting task.
Explain.
Well, I actually wanted to treat you like a boy.
And they treated me like a girl.
No, not
No,
like a girl.
no. But
Like a baby.
like a little Italian boy.
An Italian boy.
Well,
Anthony.
do you remember though? I did have, when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I had a little phase of transvestitism where I used to like to dress up as a girl, and I had an alter ego, a female alter ego named Jane. Do you remember that?
You weren't
Yes.
Jane. You beat Jane up.
No, I used to pretend to be Jane.
Oh, did
Yes.
you? You
Yes.
never shared that part.
You were there.
You were there. We were there. I thought
He
that
Now,
was...
was-
what the
Jane.
fuck is up with that? You let this go on?
Yes, because I thought, this is a phase. As kids go, this is a phase. He's going to grow out of it.
And what about the phase I'm in now? Can you do something about it? You're just going to let this
No,
go?
yeah, I'm-
You're not going
I'm-
to slap me and tell
I'm-
me to man up?
I'm not...
Nobody ever
I'm not
told you to
responsible
man
Maybe
up.
they
you
should
anymore.
have.
Maybe
No.
I should have married
No.
Major Dad. Do you remember
No.
that? I should have married some Harley biker
Well,
type.
listen, it's like you've got an Englishman and an Italian person, two of the greatest empires that have ever ruled the face of
Roman
the earth.
Empire was superior.
And what the fuck? Where's my motherfucking empire already? I should have had this on lock by now, right? Instead, it's like 4 motherfuckers sitting in a room begging for money on the internet. Like, what? How have we fallen?
I don't know.
Like, this was
We
supposed to
gave
be
you the
greatness.
best.
This was supposed to
we
be greatness.
gave you the best we had, and you took the ball and ran with it in your own way. There's only one you, Spawn.
No,
Okay.
this is not fallen. This is a plateau. We don't quite know how high the plateau is, but it's on a plateau. You're not fallen.
Do you think that am I an improvement over my ancestors? Am I an improvement over my ancestors?
Oh, you're an improvement over mine.
Do tell.
I do tell. I mean, you're special. You're interesting. You're a very, very interesting fellow. and you did it your way, which my ancestors, the best thing they ever did was immigrate to New York, and they shot their load, and then that was it. Then they made me, who with Francis's assistance made you, this unique, special, magical human being that they never could have dreamt of. And if they did, they would have had nightmares, I'm sure. But
It would appear to be all this wonder is being somewhat squandered, wouldn't you say?
in you, well, it's up to you. I don't think his wonder is being squandered.
Well, you didn't even want a kid, so your expectations were pretty low. What about you? How's this adding up to
Well,
what you
I
wanted?
was very anxious to have a child. It would,
And now you do, and how is it?
well, I don't have a child anymore. I have a son who's 45 years old, right? That's not quite the same.
I guess not.
I
But we also
Don't-
had such big ambitions, big hopes and dreams, didn't we?
Well, I thought it'd be nice if you could be work as a correspondent or something in an intelligent business like that.
And this is not intelligent to you.
Well, it's intelligent, different intelligence. That's
We're
all.
corresponding right now. We're talking about the issues. We haven't even
Yes.
gotten to the main important points here.
What's the
Yeah.
main important
Well,
point?
okay, like this, we have. Okay, fine. The nature is fine, but now all the what about and the nurturing? I mean, it was like Star Wars and tit clamps.
That was it.
All the time.
That was his. That was his. Now you've got it. Star Wars and tit clamps, or nipple clamps, as we say it in the upper stratosphere. His mother made nipple clamps for a living because he wouldn't pay enough alimony, and I had to go out and do dirty things in order to survive.
You never had alimony.
That's right. That's why I had to make nipple clamps. He doesn't get
Yeah,
it.
but who was
It
the-
was
who
better
was-
than taking
was
in
the-
laundry.
Who was the silly bugger that was paying for the maintenance on the apartment?
Well, you had to. It was the law.
That's alimony.
Oh, well, okay, whatever. You guys
All right. So
got divorced,
well, I helped you
and
with
I
the
didn't
tit
even
clamp.
give a shit, as far as I recall.
That's right.
No,
you didn't even know.
No, you were deeply upset.
Was I?
No, he was not.
Okay. All right. I'm not gonna argue the toss about that on this program.
Why? Is it too sensitive? Or you just
In a
don't
way,
think it's
no.
interesting?
It was tragic. It was tragic.
What was tragic about it? You guys both were better off after you got divorced. You blossomed as a human being after you became single again, didn't you? It was in the 70s, and then you got into your gurus, and you went on your own world of self-discovery, and you improved yourself later in life.
No, I
Not that you were
if you
terrible.
remember, I traveled a lot. I traveled an awful lot overseas and across America. So I never got much to see you. So it was always a disappointment that I couldn't
I
see
know,
you.
and then when you finally realized that you had somehow missed out, because I guess you had sort of like, you were old school, and it wasn't like, you didn't really express your affection for your children. I guess there was sort of this disconnect where you had to be sort of an aloof parent or something.
Well,
or
I'm
English.
sorry you saw it that way.
Well, I mean, that's how I remember. That's how I
Okay.
remember, because I remember when I was a kid. I didn't realize you bought me everything I ever wanted. You bought me those gigantic electric fucking trains, all the Atari shit, the computer, the video camera, any fucking thing I wanted, I got. You took me to Disneyland. You took me to Universal Studios. I was set. You
And he
covered me.
took you to Star Wars.
He
the
took
first
me to Star Wars
time.
the first time.
For
probably
that
several
reason
times
alone,
after that.
Francis
So
is father
I
of the
didn't see
year.
any deficiencies in your parenting, but then I remember later on when I was like 15, 16, and you were all gurued out and new agey, you came on real hard with this like, let me reconnect with my son routine, which was fine, but like I was a teenager and I'm not trying to get all lovey-dovey with my fucking parents at that time, but you were really leaning on me real hard to like open up, you know. I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to open it up to? It's just like you got all new agey on me when I was trying to be all punk rock, and you know.
New agey.
It was all that Hare
Well,
Krishna shit.
again, it's
it
all-
finally got.
Am I misremembering all of this stuff?
Well, I would say you're inventing rather than misremembering. Well, I remember you as a teenager. You were, because it always comes to a surprise to a parent that kids turn into teenagers, and that's appalling. It's absolutely appalling. And I remember once that you didn't want to have anything to do with me, so I thought, well, that's all right, I'll stay clear. But you needed to buy some jeans, and I was the only man with some money, right? So we went up to, it was on 8th Street, a store there, 8th Street in the Village, for those people who are not in New York. And so you went in to buy, you wouldn't let me come in the store with you. So you went in the store, picked your jeans, came out, and asked me for the money, and I gave you the money, and you went back and paid for it, right?
This was probably the Jordache jeans that I wanted.
That's a sum total of our relationship on that level whilst you were a teenager.
And then you made me go to all that fucking est shit after that.
Well, it was good. You would explain what est is.
Well, est is Earhart seminar training, which
Yeah.
is like a encounter group where you go and with a group of people you're put in situations that force you to confront your fears and all your bullshit.
Yeah.
And you did est?
I did. I was.
You did the forum, right?
No, I was on The Americans, the show The Americans, and on that show, which takes place in the '80s, there was a whole
An est bit.
an episode about an est retreat. And no, I was in it, and that was. I
What
didn't know
role
it
did you
was.
play in that?
I was just one of the people at the seminar.
At the seminar. Just a little note here, our friend Simeon is a famous background actor in every single TV show you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's really interesting though, because I had never heard of that. Because
Well, they don't call it that anymore. It's been around. It's a very non-religious type of
Yeah.
self-improvement thing where you go and they isolate you from your family and like there's this thing, the forum, which is the introduction to this thing, which is actually very useful. It did help. I'll admit it did help. Where it's basically they just, in a nutshell, they teach you that you're responsible for everything that happens in your life. And stop making fucking excuses. And oh, look, you're making excuses. These are your tapes that you play when you're fucking bullshitting yourself. So stop. And then there's all these different weird exercises. And then there's like the introductory one. And then there's the 6th day where they ship you off to some fucking rural hellhole and make you do all this athletic shit, to push your body. And they have to run and jog. And they're always making you like run when you can't run anymore, and then you have to go in the big room and confess your breakthroughs and all that crap. And you were way into this stuff, and you forced me to go because you thought you might get a relationship with your son out of all of this.
No, that's not true.
And now you're sitting
No,
here.
I wanted you to get a relationship with the teachings that they had.
Okay, well, yeah.
Well, that's it. You asked me to get a relationship with you, and I did think that was not my thought. It was for you to get to learn this stuff and maybe do you some good. It worked very well because having been in the army, they used all the old army tricks that I learned, to get you to be disciplined, to shout at you and all that stuff, and go down the zip line and frighten the hell out of you, like saying, well, we're going down the zip line and we want to make sure, we're not sure if our insurance is going to cover it, if you're going to fall off, so if you want to buy more insurance now, sign up. And all these people rushed over to sign up.
This is in the army?
No, this is in the the 6th day.
You could buy insurance on the site.
Because
What a fucking scam.
No, the
Was it a
idea
scam?
was to think that you were only hanging on the zip line with your hands. If you let go, you'd fall to your death into the canyon below, right? It's not true. They tied a rope around you and around the line. So I went down and took my hands off the zip line.
And you blew their whole scam.
Well, yeah, it was very unfortunate for them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess there was a lot of scammy stuff around that, but it was fine. I mean, yeah, in general, I will give you guys some credit that. Well, because okay, first of all my creativity was encouraged. Anything I wanted to do creatively was indulged. There was no judgment. I got to do whatever the fuck I want. And, it was a spiritual household, with all the science of mind stuff and all the sort of like self-improvement and things of that nature was always fine. And I could always come home and tell you my problems and you'd tell me the right thing that you talk me fucking. Well, you talk straight to me. Talk straight to me, and it was fine. I mean, I think I had a pretty good upbringing. You did not get me circumcised though, like that.
Now we're coming to it. Now for the 56th time, I'm gonna have to tell the effing circumcision story.
I promise you, this will be the last time.
You promise me?
Yes.
This will be. Pay attention, everyone, because I'm never going to say it again. And Francis is here. We're gonna both double team you.
Fucking circumcision story. This is the crux of my adolescence.
Okay.
I'll start, and then you can
start.
resume it.
No, I should.
Why wasn't I
start.
circumcised?
Well, one
You're
of
not
the,
Jewish.
Yeah, but I'm American.
That's
Everyone in America gets circumcised. You're circumcised, right? Circumcised. Well, you're Jewish too, aren't you?
No.
You're Jewish, right? You're circumcised. Everybody's circumcised. And I was like the only kid in all of school growing up looking at all these other little cocks, and they all looked like little mushrooms, and mine looked like a carrot. And I'm like, a radish, a carrot, whatever, some sort of root vegetable. It had the little thing on the little balloon
when he was
thing
born,
on the
it
end.
went with the ears.
It had the balloon thing on the end, and I didn't know what the hell was wrong with my dick, and nobody explained it to me.
That was his
And this isn't an indictment, but I'm just saying, it's like it was a little awkward.
No one in my family ever had that. It was just not the, why would you go around
No,
cutting
no.
some child?
May I?
Yes.
Well, after I brought forth, the doctor came into the room. I was speaking to Francis on the phone, and the doctor said, well, we need you to sign for him to be circumcised. And I was still a little dopey from the anesthesia, and I'm speaking to Francis on the phone, and I said, oh, they're going to circumcise him now. I was going to sign, but you said to me, oh, please don't let them cut him. Don't let them hurt him.
I appreciate that, Father.
You better appreciate
No,
it a
I
little
do. I mean,
more.
that sentiment was pervasive throughout my childhood, and that's why I'm such a fucking pussy
That's
as an
right.
adult.
Nobody wanted anyone to hurt
Yeah,
him.
and now
Which
I'm a pussy.
isn't a bad thing.
No, I'm a pussy.
So, all right, you're a pussy. So what? It could
Okay.
be worse.
Anyway, as I became an adolescent, and my sexuality started to develop, I realized that there was something not functional about my penis, and I had to do my own research, and I figured out, fuck, I'm not circumcised. That's what it is. I finally figured it out after like
At
fucking...
what age?
I must have been about 14. Like, I had been jerking off, and I had this very...
So from the age of 3.
Well, I mean, I was aware there was something different about my dick because I saw my friends' dicks,
Right.
you know, because you used to play the dick game,
Sure.
you know. So I would see all this other cack, and it didn't look like mine, and I just thought, I didn't know why, and it felt odd. And then I figured it out, I guess, through looking at porno magazines or just whatever. I kind of just was able to suss it out. You know, and I'd already been jerking off, and I had this way of jerking off where I would just sort of move the foreskin, like, up and down, you know, on top of my penis. Is that how you jerk off? You're still not circumcised.
We can do it.
Actually, I am circumcised.
You are? Oh, but that was much more recently.
Yeah.
When you were younger, you were not, and you jerked off a
no.
lot, right?
Well, I did my fair share.
Okay. You can tell
We
us
all want the fair share.
you could tell us your technique or not. I had my own way of
Well,
jerking
you know,
off.
did you ever teach him how to jerk off?
Oh no, all that stuff is self-taught from the
Oh,
age
I
of
don't
12.
know.
Well, I just recall, like, I realized, I mean, the thing was
I mean,
fucked
that's
up.
what a father's for, you know.
It was fucked up though because like I figured out, oh, you're supposed to roll the foreskin back, you know. So I would like try to pull it back, and it was kind of tight. It was just uncomfortable, and the skin underneath it was just fucking raw. I don't know how you do it because like I couldn't even touch the glands of my penis without it being painful. It felt like, you know, like raw skin underneath a fucking scab or whatever. So I was like, oh, this is not gonna fucking work. How am I gonna fuck, you know? And also like a lot of girls in my class, like the sluttier ones that started fucking earlier, you know, and always talking about blah blah blah, this cock, that cock. I was talking about, ew, he was uncircumcised. I'd never suck an uncircumcised dick. And I was like, what do I do?
I'll tell you
I was
what
a
he did.
teenager.
Oh, wait. Now it's my turn. I'll tell you what he did. He came home one day, slamming the door of the apartment, stomping in, boom, 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 confronting me, who was just innocently sitting there, and said, if you don't let me get a circumcised, I'm going to kill myself. So I said to him, like any mother would, wait a minute, I'll go get a scissor. You know, Rosie doesn't miss a beat, really. So,
There was a part to the story before that.
no, that
To
was
your credit, Father, every like 5 or 10 years or so, you would, in your own sort of well-meaning but somewhat fumbling way, inquire as to the state of my foreskin. And I was like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, you know, and run out of the room and slam the door. So, okay, you did try to get involved with my foreskin, and I was just too immature to deal with it until it got to a critical point. I was like, I didn't know how to bring it up. I didn't realize.
You did bring it
that
up.
was after. That was after. I didn't know how to address it. I did everything. I called the door. Do you remember that place? The Door is where they used to give condoms out to like teenage runaways. It was like a sexual support place for And I called them up and I'm like, hey, I want a circumcision. I'm 15. And they were like, oh, well, you have to call a hospital or talk to your parents. And I didn't know what to do. So I'm pouting about, thinking I'm never going to get my dick sucked. And then out of blue, my fucking father, the hero, just asked me, so, son, you're 15 now. I'm paraphrasing. How's your foreskin doing? Are you able to roll it back? And I'm like, I want to get a circumcision. And you said okay. And you said okay. And you put it, you didn't press and you put it in motion. That's when I went to you.
Well.
And told you that. And then
then
you took me. Oh, and then there was the insurance scam.
Oh, may I?
Yeah, we're
All right,
getting close to the end, thank God. But okay.
Oh no, it's not. The story goes on. Well, then you went with him.
Yeah, it was something about the insurance.
Oh,
went
yes.
to the urologist.
Well, I remember. He went and he was wearing these cargo pants at the time, the baggy cargo pants, fatigue pants. And Francis and Morgan went. You were on HIP at the time, Health Insurance Plan of New York. Yes. And they went to the urologist, and Morgan said he wanted to be circumcised. So the urologist was very smart. Took Morgan in the office, and he said, are your parents pressuring you to do this? And he said, no, it's my decision. So then the urologist, this is what he told me. He may have rewritten it in his mind now. The urologist says, well, drop your pants and let's see what you got. So you're wearing these cargo pants and you dropped your pants, but you were so nervous, you told me, that his dick shriveled. And it was small, and the urologist says, oh, you can roll that skin back like nothing.
Well, the idea was he wanted to determine whether this was a medical necessity
yes,
or was it
and
cosmetic.
it was cosmetic. And
but the insurance wouldn't pay for it if it was cosmetic.
And you were upset. They finally fudged it and said it was a medical
Why would I be upset?
Because you had to pay for it. Because it was for cosmetic reasons, it wasn't covered by the insurance.
The operation wasn't for cosmetics. Quotes. It wasn't for cosmetic, was it?
Yes, because the urologist agreed that it was okay to put that it wasn't, so he could be covered by the
But it was
insurance.
causing a young man's psychological distress.
Yes, or whatever.
Well, not also
So-
And the girls in his class don't blow on cut.
Yeah, but
that would distress anybody.
so I wake
Too
up
bad
and
they didn't. You're not born now. Because girls put anything in their mouth now.
I know. Now I know that. I mean, it took me another 20 years before I actually got a blowjob after this happened.
Oh fuck.
Not really. But I woke up in the hospital with the fucking most aggressive pain on my penis. And when they took me home, and it was like a one-day thing. It didn't stay the
You're
night.
missing all
What's the good bits?
When I spoke to the urologist before they took him in for the surgery, and the surgeon, came to me. They said, your son is a real piece of work. And I said, well, why? He said, because he brought a picture to show some porn star, what was it, Johnny Wad or something, he said, with the mushroom head, your son wants me to make his penis look like this.
What?
So wait a minute. And I said, well, did you? And he said, I did it.
Not quite as big as that.
But shapely. And so the urologist, the guy who was the surgeon, was hysterical because you came in there with the picture of the Johnny Wad's penis and said, do that.
That's unbelievable.
And I said, well, like I don't miss a beat. And I said, well, did you? And he said, pretty much, So it was after that.
It looks pretty good.
And I'm sure it does. Don't show me
There's
now.
a few
It's
mistakes, but
all right, but wait. Then after the surgery, where we're ready to take him home. The doctor said, let him go and take a pee, before you take him home. I said, why? Is there any problem? He said, no, I want him to see his penis while I'm here to explain why it looks like that. So there's Morgan goes into the stall, and he's in there. And I remarked to Francis, I said, please go in there and check. Maybe he passed out. And no, there's Morgan standing there with his legs out, with the IV in his arm, and he comes out. The doctor said, have you seen your prick? And Morgan said, no, I couldn't see it. I don't have my contacts on. So he said, just take him home. He told me, just take him home. It was later that day Morgan did see his prick, in the bathroom and started shrieking because he said I look like fucking Frankenstein.
It was fucking it was hideous.
It was looked
hideous.
like an eggplant.
It looked like
He's screaming, "It looks like an eggplant! I look like fucking Frankenstein!"
it just had these big stitches all around the edge, you know, and the fucked up thing was that like the stitches had to be in there for like a week, right? And
Nothing stops our
no,
boy,
but the
though.
thing is, it's like I'm 15, I'm popping wood all the time. And whenever I got an erection, it would pull the stitches. So I'm struggling not to get horny, you know. And it's like there's pornography everywhere, and it's like, you know, even now if I go one day without jerking off, I get agita. So when I'm 15 years old, I'm going fucking insane. So finally, like maybe about 7 days in, I just got to bust a nut, and I took the old National Lampoon into the bathroom. I used to jerk off to the little black and white comics with the tits. It was enough. And I'm just like, the 2 fingers trying to just like get a nut out with like doing as little damage and just like touching it. And I was able to bust a nut, you know, with minimal effort, but one of the stitches popped. And there's still a fucking scar on the side of my dick where the stitch popped out.
A war wound.
Holy
A
shit.
war wound.
And if you want to hear any further details, it's not quite lined up. You know how, like, you look...
You know, you're
He
such
sewed
a
it
tease.
together wrong.
He is a cock tease. Why don't you just go in front of the camera? and
Eventually. I'm just... Nobody wants to see the details, but if you must know, you know, like, here's the urethra, and then you're supposed to have the little mushroom with that little flap
Like
that hangs
this,
over.
something
It's
like
off.
that.
It's like a 16th of an inch off. Like, the head of the it doesn't line up. You know, like, he sewed it together with the foreskin just slightly off, so it's like... It doesn't quite
Well,
line
when
up.
he makes porn movies, everybody knows who's doing it because
That's going to be interesting because if I ever get my chance to go participate in a bukkake, I want to be able to recognize, you know,
Yeah, right.
one of
But
hundreds.
you missed the important. Now we're going to tie this into the psychedelic business, because there was him lying on the couch moaning, and he had like a little pyramid here so nothing would touch it, and he's on the couch saying moaning and whining and whinging. I learned that word from you, whinging. It hurts. Go out and buy me toys. This is after circumcision, and there's the shop called Forbidden Planet. He said, "Mommy," called me mommy still because he was in pain. It wasn't ma, it was mommy now. See, "Mommy, go to Forbidden Planet and buy me toys." So what does his mommy do? Mommy goes to Forbidden Planet to buy him, and I had to buy you. Go ahead, share with your
The
audience.
muscle things.
The muscle figures. I came back with the little muscle figures and gave them to him, and the pain receded while he played.
1985.
Something like that. I remember having one of the Tracy Lords issues back then. I think one of my earliest post-circumcision masturbatory fantasies was Tracy Lords. So there you go. When you can still get that kind of stuff back in the day. Okay, well,
That is the story of the circumcision.
And with that, we're
record this because
going
I'm never telling it
Yeah,
again.
you know, when I got my surgery on my ear, I bought like $2,000 worth of shit online. I was
Really?
sitting there, I was just like, I feel terrible. I'm gonna buy things.
You know, Morgan should have saved this.
swear.
He should have saved this foreskin and put it on eBay at this point. Right? You didn't think of it then.
they didn't have eBay.
That's true. That's why you didn't.
But you're right. I mean,
Well,
I don't want to spill everything at once. Thank you, everybody. That wraps up this
We'll be
episode
back.
of the Super Suck Hour.
fear, be afraid, be very afraid.
Props
We will
to.
be back.
I'm trying to do my closing segment here. Props to the Suck Mom,
Cut me
the
off,
Suck
cut
Pops,
me off.
Simeon Littman, Nasty Neil. We're gonna get more into you guys in future episodes. Thanks for being part of this. If you want to follow us on any of the social medias, it's The Suck Hour. You can get a hold of us at The Suck Hour at suckadelic.com. We're on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on fucking Twitter, we're on Instagram. You can follow me on Snapchat, Sucklord66. We're going to be doing Periscope sooner rather than later, and this is going to continue on into ad infinitum. So, Excelsior, everybody. Thank you for listening to the stupid fucking Super Suck Hour. Hey! 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 Hey!
Stuart Granger.
Yeah, okay. And that's a wrap on episode 1. Thank you, everybody.
What time